Okay, just gonna do the, did you guys come in? Anthony's here, great. Anthony, okay, Anthony, got you. Cameron, okay, got you. Camille, okay, and Michaela. Great, so far so good. While you're on, Cameron, I'm going to do a quick, because I said I was going to address your bag. So I'm going to do a quick sketch because today we're actually going to focus on shoes and pencil drawing. But so we'll talk about your bag in just a sec. In the meantime, let me just get these people as they come in. Jana. Jana's here.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jana. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Great. Are you sleepy?
A little.
Yeah, no, me too. But I've had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm getting there. Well, anyway, today we're gonna work on shoes. I'm gonna do a quick bag sketch for Cameron. I guess while the people are coming in. Hi, Jemiah. Jemiah's here. I'm gonna do a quick sketch for your bag, Cameron. You're not giving me much to work on though, Cameron, I have to say. Because I printed out your drawing here.
Yeah.
I have it all kind of set up, ready to do, but in the meantime, let me just get this. Cameron's here. It's Steve.
I've added a little to it. I don't know if it
well, send it to me.
Want me to send it real quick?
Send it to me while I get people in, because I really want to focus on shoes. I'm trying to do shoes 1 week, bags the other week, shoes the other week, bags the other week, and I've done already 2 bags, 2 bags, and then only 1 shoe. So, but anyway, let me just get these people in. Cameron, Anthony, I got you. Camille, I think I got you. Jana, Michaela, Nikki. Morning, Nikki. Present, Nikki.
Good morning.
Hey, and Steve. Great. Slowly filling up with presents. I just by default put everyone excused absence. And as you come in, I just put in present. Okay, but anyway, as we wait for the others to come in, let me talk about your bag, Cameron. Okay, firstly, I guess I can share my screen. Let me do this, but it just gets a little confusing. Google Chrome, is that Chrome? PDF, let me just, desktop 2. Okay, this will work.
I just sent you the updated version.
How did you do it? How did you send it to me?
Just to your email, your college CCS email.
I got it.
I don't know if that'll help more, but.
Okay. Okay, I got him. All right. So has anyone else come in? Let me just make sure before I get started, because it kind of gets a little confusing having to multitask like a beast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, got 8 presents, so kind of good. Okay, right, I see what you did. You didn't do too much, actually. You added some thickness to leather, but okay. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so this is what you just sent me, Cameron. Can you see this?
No, I just see.
Okay, I might have shared the wrong screen. My bad. Let me. Desktop 2. Oh, I'm doing the wrong desktop. My bad. Okay. Okay, this is what you see my desktop now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, okay, this is what you sent me. Let me just show you the PDF you sent me. So, firstly, please take a better photograph. I mean, this is that image you sent, and just put some love into your work. That includes taking a good photo, because me, as your, let's say I'm your boss or your client, I'm like, oh God, I have to, firstly, I don't mind printing it out, but I do mind wasting ink on all of this gray stuff. So get your lighting right, get your thing square. Try not to get pictures of this stuff. If you have, you know, like up here, if you have this type of stuff, cut it out, man. Adjust it, and turn it black and white. So, you know, it's easy for me to print, so I don't waste a bunch of black ink, because ink costs a lot of money.
Okay.
Somebody just came in. So, you know, just put attention to detail and all of that. Who just came in? Greg. Hey, Greg. Hey, how are you, man?
I'm all right.
All right, cool. Present. Okay, just missing. Let me just double check, make sure that I'm not missing anyone. Monica, I don't think I see you. Not yet, at least. Okay, Monica, no. Andrew Dems, and I don't see you yet. Jacob Emmett, no Jacob. Lauren, she'll come in. She's always oversleeping, I bet. Jade, no Jade yet. And did I say Monica? Monica Ring, are you here? Nope. Okay, still missing 4, but whatever. I'll hear the chimes, and I might have to do an interruption and put the person in as they come. All right, as we're talking, Cameron. All right, so just present your work nicely. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration for the class for you guys who just came in. We did the homework review last week, and so I was promising I'd help. I didn't have time to do a drawing for Cameron's bag, so I'm just going to help him out a little bit. And I'll set up my camera and do a quick one. So, as I say, for those of you who just came in, I'm going to do shoes. And I'm going to focus on shoes, and I'm going to use pencil for a change. I love ballpoint pen, and so I'm using my medium will be pencil, just to show you a different technique. It's not my favorite, but still, they still will look pretty hot, the sketches, I hope. But in the meantime, I'm just going to spend a few minutes helping Cameron on this bag. So this is the bag. I'm sharing my screen right now, my desktop, and this is Cameron's bag. So firstly, Cameron, you're not giving me much to go on, but I'm going to do what I think you're trying to achieve. And it's just going to be a quick sketch, because I can't go hardcore on it. Because I'll leave that up to you.
All right.
So unshare, I'm going to share my camera. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh, wait a sec. I'm not going to stop sharing my screen. I'm just going to turn on my camera. And let me get my sketchbook. Turned on the wrong thing. It's this one here. No, not Zoom. My bad. I'm going to say camera. Visualizer. Okie dokie. Okay, this is my desktop. Let me just adjust my camera so it works. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I should have adjusted it. It looks.
So this is just a printout of your thing. Let me just continue adjusting this stuff. Let me get a crispy drawing to just the camera focus. Okay. Pretty more or less kind of focused. Lighting is good for now. Please tell me if the lighting goes weird because I'm not looking at my screen much and clouds come and it just changes the lighting situation. So the blank sheet here. Let's get my drawings organized. Okay. Fresh sheet. Okay, so I have this printout of Cameron's bag in front of me, and I'm just going to put it next to me so I have it as reference so I can just do a quick sketch of this thing and interpret it how I think it should be. And in this case, I'm just going to use a ballpoint pen because it's my quickest, fastest, most proficient medium. But as I say, after this, the rest of the class will be shoes and using pencil, for those of you who like pencil. Okay, Cameron. And just for reference, I'm gonna move this over and here's Cameron's bag. This is his original sketch he sent me. And he sent me an email this morning with update. So I see you just moved, we talked about this, you moved the handle back, that's cool, and you add some thickness to the leather. Well, firstly, there's an interesting thing that how you've drawn this. And this goes for everyone. Now, when I was doing bags, my boss, and this may be this particular thing, but he really liked it when I did architectural type drawings for bags. But they're not the most telling. They're the highest impact for wow factor, but they're not the best drawings for like really understanding how a bag is built. Now, what I mean by an architectural drawing is, and so Cameron's drawing inspired me to do this technique. But this is not going to be the main sketch, but this is an interesting, this is literally an interesting perspective.
Excuse me, Brook.
Yes.
Hey, before you get into this, I was wondering, can you like integrate your type of technique for like transition from different line weights? You know what I mean? While using this drawing.
Sure, absolutely. That
I
line.
appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. And I thank you for asking that because it's very important. Okay, it's very light. I know you can barely see it, but I can barely see it also. I can see my screen. I can see my sketchbook, so it really does look like this.
No, you good, bro.
Yeah, no problem, bro. This is really a shadow from my camera stuff. But anyway, now architectural drawings, buildings are super big and tall, so the perspective is super forced. And so this boss of mine, he loved it when I did bags like this, like a massive building. And that's just an extreme, perspective of, let's just say it's a tote bag or something like that. So it's an interesting wow factor thing, but you don't want to send this to a constructor necessarily because it might be hard to, for him or her to understand it. You'd have to go more 3D, but anyway, let me just continue. This is Cameron's bag. He has this kind of architectural type of perspective nearly. So I'm just gonna rock this out quick. So how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna put a center line in because he obviously has some sort of, centrally based handles. So you got a handle and it goes up like this and he has it squared off. So that's cool. And it goes off, it's squared off. Okay, I'm just really loose. Okay, I'm just being very loose right now. And just to get the idea across. Notice I'm getting all of this perspective in and then here. Okay, it's just loose and I'm just gonna put in the other side of the bag. I'm making sure the handles are the same height. Okay, that's the basics, and he has it mounted about here. and he's got the X type of, he's got the X stitching technique to stitch on your handles. Here he's got an adjustable strap with like, I forgot what we called them, but those little notches so he could adjust the strap length, which is actually a nice idea. Then on the side here, he's got this hole, and coming out of that hole, now this is a strap that goes around, but notice it's going in perspective. And then it's going around over his straps. And I guess it goes all the way around the bag. So that's basically his bag. I'll get in there a little bit harder. I don't like this pen. I'm gonna go for a little tighter pen. The difference between these two ballpoint pens is this is a very thin, I think it's 0.3 mm, and this one's like a 0.5. And since I'm drawing real small, I'm gonna use this thin pen. Okay, let me just bust. So this dynamic perspective, it can be fun. Let's see who just came in.
Hi, Brooke.
Hey Jade, hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Excuse me,
Sorry for coming.
What?
Sorry for coming a little late.
Oh, you're cool.
I apologize for that. My bad.
You're good. Where's my visualizer? Oh, here we go. I'm just gonna put you in. Attendance roster. Today's the 17th. And Jade. Okay, perfect. Present. Am I missing anyone? I don't want to have to look so much. I want to focus on drawing. But is Jacob here? Jacob Emmett? I don't see. Lauren, are you here yet?
Let me call Lauren to see if she's coming.
Okay, cool. And Monica Ring. Those are the only 4 that we're missing. And Dems. Andrew Dems? Okay, I don't see. All right then, so I'm just going to submit this until somebody else comes in. All right, back to this. So this is this architectural style drawing that I'm working on. So just, you just came in, Jade. I'm going to focus on shoes today, but I just got to do this quickly. So, okay, now I will start just putting in this line thickness to your point, Greg. So I'll start off with darkness underneath the strap that goes all the way around. I'm going to get in there in the holes inside here. Just make that dark because inside that's deep, dark, deep inside. And the bag might rotate around like this because I can't tell from your drawing, Cameron.
Yeah, it is supposed to be like more rounded.
I'm just, okay, so I'm going to put in just very light, and this is part of the line weight stuff, very light where the corner transition is.
Okay.
Starting and leaving. Okay, so next thing is I just want to get dark on top of these tops of the straps, just to confirm that perspective. I'm going dark underneath. Sorry about my shadows, but oh, and let me move this down. My bad. I know it's there, and let's just adjust this white balance because it's locked that in, and also this lock that in too. Okay, and also the focus is not right. Lock that there. Go down underneath the bag with a dark line. I mean, not underneath the straps. It goes around, and all this is going to be. How is this working? Okay, whatever. I'm not even. This is just a loose sketch, so I'm not even going to get too worried about how those fold. Okay, I'm just going to. I don't know how that's working actually. It's kind of screwed up on the drawing, but thank goodness it's just a thumbnail. This goes down and it goes underneath his strap. And since it goes down, I'm going to make it curl up. I'm just adding an extension just to show that it's a strap that's free floating. And these are his adjustment kind of holes, belt holes, I guess you call them. And it wraps around there, and there's a little corner here, so it wraps around there. Okay, so now I've got that extreme perspective. I'm going to put in a contour line, which I'm going to say I'm going to purposely put that contour line right here, going across, because that way I can show it goes above and behind that adjustable strap, and it curves around here, and it curves there. I'm going to also work this contour line that goes straight down the middle. It goes down here, then it kicks out because it's a layer on top, and then it goes down. Let's just say the bottom, it looks like you have a curve, so I'm going to curve the bottom of this bag. Now, I don't know how it's going to be constructed, but that's all you, Cameron, to figure out how that's constructed. I don't want to do your thinking for you. Okay, so that's kind of, and then this is basically good enough for me. And I'm just going to shade in just this part where the transition starts of the curve. I could put a core in there, but I'm going to be lazy. And I guess I'm going to shade this in. It's not completely correct, but it'll do. So anyway, that's that architectural look when you're doing bags and you want that wow impact, but it's not great for construction. So let's just get on to the construction of this thing. So just a quick sketch. So let's just start off with a simple box or rectangle. I'm going to put a forced perspective in there because I've run out of paper down here. So I'm going to force that perspective in there. I'm not even going to put in a perspective grid. So maybe this bag is open. It doesn't have, I don't see any flaps or anything on here, so it's just an open bag. Rainwater, by the way, can get in there, but that's just me being a product designer. Fashion people don't care about that. So rounded corners, just like I rounded up there. Okay, if I rounded these corners up the top, I'm going to round the corners on the bottom. So it gives it that roundy type of look. So that's that. I'm going to put a center line down. I eyeball it. I kind of like eyeball in between here, and that's about here, and down here. I eyeball between here and here. So there, that's going to be my center line. Throw that in because center line is very nice to be able to position your straps nicely. So and so for the class, I'm looking at this drawing right here on my screen. So one strap comes in about here. I'm eyeballing about halfway in between here and here. That's about halfway. And then also I'm going to just place this one here for the other strap. This one attaches here, and there's that X type of construction. This one comes down, and it kind of flies out. I know he doesn't have it flying out on his, but I'm just doing it because I don't know, maybe you forgot to put it in. This is just another contour line, and it kicks out here. So the contour line. So this strap comes up, and I'm kind of eyeballing it to go along the lines of this, and it comes up and then over. Sometimes it gets very confusing how straps fold and stuff. So I guess it kind of goes here, keeping this end over here in the perspective. Okay, that's one strap, and it, God, this is confusing. Maybe it's because I don't fully understand. It's just going up, transitions, and goes around. Goes up, transition. So I'm just gonna put a, man. So this is, no, I might, all right. I'm gonna use my belt because I'm having a hard time figuring this stupid line out. It's just like so simple. Comes up and then it twists.
It's okay. I believe in you.
Okay, so it goes up and twists. All right. All right, and you've got these adjustment holes. And then, so I'm gonna get that perspective right because the strap is gonna come from the other side as well. Notice how my perspectives are all working together. And that's, so I can put in another strap here. And this perspective is also working on the corner of this And this handle comes up, and then it goes over here, and then it goes down. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time on that. So basically, I've got my straps. I've got my basic construction of this bag. We've got some sort of boot that goes down here. I guess it's going to be stitch and turn. So if this is stitch and turn, I'm going to actually put that detail in here. This is part of how to construct the bag so they can understand. Each corner is stitch and turn. It's behind there, so I don't need to add anything. So stitch and turn, I hope you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to actually add that leather thickness. Nice and slow on this one. And slow doesn't make those nice, efficient lines, but it is a soft bag, so it's cool to have these slow lines. It looks just a little bit wavy and jittery because I'm not shaky, but I guess I am. So this is this construction. It's very unfinished. This look, if you have this look, it's super unfinished. You have to put a piece of finishing material on top. But I'm gonna leave that up to you, Cameron. You're the bag constructor. But this view that I'm drawing is so people can understand how this thing is constructed. So, okay, so those are all stitch and turned. And you know what I mean by stitch and turn, just in case the guy or whoever's making this bag doesn't know what I'm talking about, he would be a moron not to, but there are a lot of morons out there that don't know stuff. So this is stitch and turn. Oh, little mistake there, but it's cool. Get out the proverbial whiteout, because if he's a moron, he'll make it completely wrong. He'll make it wrong. You know, that's something about, I've done a lot of prototypes with China, and if you make a mistake, they will take that mistake literally. A lot of them, if they're a complete moron. Okay, and then it's stitched inside here. Those are suggestive of stitch. And stitch and turn. So that's the construction of the bag there. I'm gonna start getting in there. So you also have to include those details down at the bottom. So it kind of does this type of construction, and I'm purposely exaggerating this. Nice hard line there because it's a separation of two materials. Then we've got this boot thing, whatever it is, and it goes here. I have to add thickness, and it stitches in there, it kind of pinches in there. So
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a pocket.
well, all right, man. So I'm not designing this
It's
whole bag
fine.
for you.
It's fine.
So this could still be
Doesn't matter.
bag. This could still be a pocket. So let's put in a piece of paper in here, a couple of pieces of paper. So, okay, that's pocket. Okay, and so starting to come about, make this bottom line super dark because it's the bottom. So this is also a very strong line because it separates the back from the front. And Greg, this line weight stuff, you should stop. So I did a hard line here, right? Because it's separating the leather from whatever's inside. I did that hard line, but notice how I stop it in here. If you do that hard line all the way through, you're just gonna have to get the whiteout out. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you gotta.
I think I'm still stuck in illustration because well, at least me, I was always told to just keep drawing through.
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, well, generally, I did draw through here. You can see, but now I've already drawn through. I know where the line goes, so now I don't have to draw through anymore.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. And so I'm adding thickness to this leather, and then I will see. Okay, I'll see this leather going through here, but it hides. So I'm showing thickness to show that's the side view of the leather. Okay, and then, oh shit, this is so confusing for me. It stops there. Okay, and then here, thickness of leather. honestly, I kind of get confused about how straps work when I think about it in my mind, and I have to physically get a strap and put it, like my belt, I have to physically put it there for me to help understand. Okay, but in this case, I think you can kind of get it. Whatever. So that's that strap. I'll put a little shadow underneath here. And this strap here is, okay, I definitely want to see leather going through here, and then I'll come over. Now I'm starting to get it, I hope. And then this side, you'll see thickness, and then I'll go away. Okay, I'm gonna put in a contour curves here and here. This goes underneath, and then it follows a perspective. So those are the two handles. Okay, unfortunately I drew the handle. I can't draw this part behind handle. Okay, and then you have your top-notch thingies, whatever. Your okay, let's just do a quick detail of that. What this is, as far as I'm aware, it's something like one of these things. It's like a ball, and there's this is a rivet. I think it's riveted in, and so that's where a piece of leather. In fact, I'll show that leather behind here. There's a hole in the leather, and it's got this kind of keyhole thing. And then we'll put that one back here as well. Another one, just to show that it's repetitive. So, and this goes inside here. So I'm just trying to describe how this thing works. So there, I've done that circle. So this is called, I guess it's a closure. I'll just put in some engineering type of stuff. That's this, okay. Stitch and turn, closure, and okay, well that's as far as I can go, Cameron. Oh, no, you've got a hole in here, because I see, add thickness to that hole, to the leather, and then he's got a strap that goes around and over, and goes around, and it goes over. There's this bottom part of the strap, goes around, and add that leather thickness. It goes over that. Unfortunately, it's going over my detail, but there, join that up. Since that's going to be casting a shadow underneath. So Greg, as far as line weights, this is where I'm coming from. It's going to go the dark line underneath. And it's nice if this is an advanced move, but the lines nearest you are going to be thicker, and as they go away, they kind of get lighter. Because things that are nearest you are darker. And there's a theory behind that. Theory is, it's, okay, I'll tell you what this theory is. The theory is, starts off dark near you, and then it goes away. Now this is the theory. The theory is, objects immediately in front of you, you can clearly see it, it's in focus, and it's dark and normal. But as you go looking way back, and let's be extreme and say you look at the mountains in the distance, they're all faded. So theoretically, the further away the thing is, there's atmosphere, and so it starts to fade things off as it goes away. You know, just like you see downtown, a few miles away, it's all faded. So we're applying that same theory, but even though it's a lot shorter distance, we're still applying that same theory. So as things go away, they get lighter. And not that I executed it extremely well here, but, oops, sorry. But I have executed it somewhat. And another thing is the stuff that's nearest you, so I'm darkening all the stuff that's nearest me. The stuff that's nearest you is in focus. And as I get further away, my long hair is so annoying. Got hair in my mouth. So just like anything, when you have something long, and let me just test it. So I've got this paintbrush, and so as it's close to you, this is a realistic type of dimension of a product or a bag. As it goes, the front part should theoretically be, let's try something a little harder instead of, the front should be very focused, and then as it goes back, it gets unfocused. So that's the thing about the stuff that's immediately in front of you, these corners, that's darkest, and as it goes away, it fades away. So anyway, Cameron, this is all I've got for your bag until you can figure out how more it's constructed. Maybe you put in some stitches here because I really want to get into the class subject today.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
That subject of shoes and using pencil. I'm going to use, and we're just going to bust out some shoes. But anyway, Cameron, I'm going to send this to you later today. Okay. You know, give it some background, give it some love back there. Unfortunately, my lines in between here are a little bit too wide because they look the same as the thickness of the straps. So I'm going in there again. This is like adding those, you know, you taste the food, and if you're doing something really, you know, you're really pulling out all the stops when you're cooking, you taste the food, make sure it's enough salt, enough. And so that's what I'm doing here. I noticed the lines were not salty enough, so I added more salt. All right, and here's a shadow, and I'm just gonna do quick shading just to give it that background. Cameron, okay. Cameron's bag. I'll scan that and send that to you later. And now,
All right, thank you.
now for the feature of this TV episode. We're gonna do shoes. So basically, this is the dealio. Every other week, I'm gonna do first I'm gonna do bags 1 week. Second week, I'll do bags, shoes, alternating. Bags 1 week, shoes the other week, bags, shoes, bags, shoes. So I have a nice balance of shoes and bags every week. So today's shoes because last week I did bags. And we're gonna do something a little different today. But it's all in the same world and it's all accessible and easy. So right now here, I've got a pad of paper. This is marker paper. And so I'm using marker paper, translucent marker pad. You see marker paper right there. It's a specific type of paper because as I'm doing a talk about using pencils, and my pencils today will be Prismacolors. Prismacolors. I'm sorry, you can't see that, but you know what I'm talking about, I assume, Prismacolors. I'm sorry, my light's not good. But Prismacolor is kind of the mainstream that we use for sketching. And instead of black, black is cool for sketching this, but the best color is technically indigo blue. It's that architectural blue that you see architectural drawings. And somehow us product designers love that. But black doesn't work as well for me. And I don't even know why. It should theoretically work, but it's just too aggressive somehow. It's too, I don't know. I honestly don't know why I don't like it. So let me find some indigo blues. Black, indigo blue, here's one. I mostly have indigo, well, I normally mostly have indigo blues and blacks, but since I use them up, I might not have many left. Oh, this looks indigo blue. All black. No, maybe I love black. I've been doing this for a while as far as pencils. But I know indigo blues are the best. So sorry, I'm just gonna look for some more indigo blues. I got one. I don't know if this is gonna be enough because you go through these like a beast. Somebody was saying they love very thins. Here's a very thin. Oh, it's hard to see. Indigo blue, another one. Oh, this one's a broken one. Notice the tip is broken on this. That's a bad sign. That means, so what happens, what I really hate about these Prismacolors, but is the fact that what happens is the leads break inside. This plastic stuff, the lead breaks inside. Just a simple, just bending the pencil will break the lead inside. Sticking it in a sharpener, sharpening it will cause the torsional thing to twist and break inside. So if they start breaking up inside, oh my God, it's annoying. So this one has a broken tip. So that suggests to me that this could be broken up inside. There's a way to fix it also, but the way you fix it is indigo blue. This one's broken too. No, this one's not broken. It's just worn down. The way to fix these things is this lead, and I don't know what it is inside, to be honest. It's not lead, but it melts. And so what you can do, if you've got a pencil which has got those broken up, just sharpening, it's breaking, sharpening, it's breaking, stick it in the microwave and just put it in for like 2 seconds max, because it'll burn the wood super quick. So 2 seconds, stick the pencil in the microwave for 2 seconds, and it might save the pencil, because what it'll do is it'll melt the internals and glue it back together. But I've come into issues where I stuck it in the microwave for 2 or 3 seconds, 1 second too long, and what happens is, you know how microwaves react to metal, and this is metal writing, and what happens is you start seeing it sparking and then burning and then catching on fire. So I don't know if I'm risking everyone's home and stuff by suggesting this, but let me just find, I have to stack up on these pencils because I don't want to have to keep going back. So it's better spending a little time making sure I've got enough pencils, and I might have to go with black. But I just want to, I'd like to go blue if I can. But it's nothing more annoying than having to keep going in and finding pencils. When you're in a flow, okay, well, I guess I'm good. I've got a few there. Hopefully they don't break up on me. I'm not gonna do that microwave thing. All right, I guess I'm good. Or I could go maybe a better option is just going to a completely different color. Okay, I'm gonna have to go on because I don't want to waste time looking for these stupid pencils. Indigo blue. Another indigo blue. All right, we're good. Okay, now, sharpen my pencils. Got my industrial sharpener here. I'm not going to show you. Get them all sharpened up. This felt pretty good. Okay, here's another tip. So if you're using manual, pencil sharpeners, okay, this is one of the best, but that's not a manual. That's an electric. But I want to tell you about these pencils and the pros and cons.
Hey, Brooke, I have a question.
Yep.
Well, I just texted Lauren. Lauren just woke up. Is it all right if she still joins?
Yeah, sure, of course.
All right. She'll be on her way. Say less.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so if you use these manual pencil sharpeners, you know, here's another manual one, non-electric, they will break this lead up inside the pencil because and I'm not even going to put it in here and ruin my pencil, but for me, they kind of ruin your pencil because even though they could be super sharp, each time you jerk this thing around, you're putting stress on that very delicate lead inside. And so each time you do that, you potentially break it, and it's just going to really annoy you. You're going to be wasting, I don't know how much these pencils are, a couple of bucks each at least. So I don't like using these manual ones. So that's the worst case scenario. If you've only got that, well, what to do? Second is, this is a classic. They stopped making this. Oh no, this is X-Acto. So they still make this. This is a very good pencil sharpener, and they sell this at the CCS bookstore. This is a very good one, and it's got an X-Acto blade in it. So you know, X-Acto knives, they're very, very sharp and good. So this is a really good pencil sharpener. I don't know how much they cost. I don't have batteries in here, so I can't demonstrate it for you. But I think this one's the second best thing you can do. But the very first best is I bought a pencil sharpener. I'm just gonna show it to you like this. It's plugged in, and so it's a pencil sharpener. It's an industrial one. It's the most expensive one I could get, and it's for teachers. It's for teachers with a classroom full of kids, and so all the kids can go up and sharpen their pencil. And I don't know what it was, like 60, 70 bucks. I got it because one of my clients specifically instructed sketches with Prismacolors. So I bought that expensive beast because I had to use a lot of Prismacolors, and I was tired of breaking my pencils and spending money. And so I just bought that beast, and it's brilliant. And it doesn't break my leads at all. And it's just industrial. So what I'm gonna do is just sharpen all my pencils so I can flow nice. Got a high horsepower motor.
Don't forget the music.
I know that's noisy and crappy, but I've listened to the recordings of our Zooms, and the bass is just too much erupting for you guys. I don't think you can handle it. I've got these pretty big desktop speakers, about like that. There's a bass hole right at the bottom. Bass comes out, reverberates against the whole table. I guess I can turn the bass down, and I've got a crazy NAD amp. It's just a monster. Because if I'm not doing videos, I'm gonna be pumping the music for myself and just jamming out. So Greg, I'm not gonna put on music right now. It's also distracting for you all. Okay, shoes. Now what I'm thinking about is I've pulled up an image already, not images, but I'm thinking, and I'm torn about this, what I'm gonna talk about a little bit because of COVID. So let's just go to my shoe reference that I've got. Let me just find it. Work, CCS, fat ball, fashion accessories, demonstration, shoes and bags. So what I had an idea about was, oh, I love this type of stuff. I don't know if you can see it. This laser etching stuff's so awesome, but I'm not gonna draw that. Okay, I know some people are coming in, but I'll get you guys who just came in, I'll put you on the attendance roster, but let me just finish my train of thought. Let me find the shoe I'm thinking about. It was a soccer cleat or golf cleat, whoever was into the soccer shoes. Come on, where are you? I'm not doing anything sporty, I'm doing something dress. And the shoe I'm inspired by is a wingtip, basically. If I can find this sucker. Oh, there. No, that's not it. That's not it. I know it looks wingtip-ish, but it's not it. Jeez, where is this? I saw this wingtip. Let me just go over it one more time. I'm gonna go slow. There's no wingtip on that, and that's not what I'm talking about. No wingtips. There's no wingtips. That's a clean shoe, totally clean. So wingtips, I was thinking about having the city of Detroit skyline as a wingtip. Rinsen maybe in the middle. Come on, where are you? Because I need it for later. Seriously, bro? I just had that thing. Whatever. All right, I'm just gonna wing it. Pardon the pun for wingtips. So let me just start off. Excuse me?
We can't, I just see bags on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I got shoes and bags mixed. But hey, it doesn't,
No.
it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because I'm going to start with thumbnails because I got to get a design ready. And then I'm going to bust it out. I'll choose one of my favorite proportions, like, let's just say this one. It's a dress shoe. Maybe I use this one as the base. When I get my thumbnails done and I'm ready to move on to the next step, I will take this and trace it basically to make sure I get the right proportions. But I've got an issue with these wingtips and these dress shoes. And it doesn't make sense to design this at this current time because I think the fashion industry it's kind of screwed right now because who's going out, except for very wealthy people, who's going out and buying expensive stuff when they can't even show it off? Since we have this social distancing, there's no big parties. The clothing industry is kind of, especially the suits and you know, this kind of business attire is dead. I mean, stores are closing all over the place because we don't have these meetings anymore. You don't have to get suited up. Nobody sees your feet anymore. So doing this is against my philosophy, doing a dress shoe, because it won't sell. But we still need shoes, so we might as well do it. All right, so my concept is Detroit wingtips. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me get rid of this so you can see what I'm sketching. Get rid of this. We don't need to see that anymore. Make this big. Oh, and somebody just came in. Some people just came in, so I'm gonna just do a quick roll call. All right, who just came in?
I'm here.
I did a little while ago.
Okay. So Andrew Dems, are you here? Nope. Monica Ring, are you here? Nope. And wait a sec, where are you, Lauren?
I'm here.
I know you're here, but
Oh, it says present already.
oh, it says present. All right. So okay, I'm only missing two. Great. Andrew Dems, Monica Ring. So I'm gonna submit. We're good. Okay. Close that down a little bit. So I'm gonna do some quick thumbnails about Detroit wingtips, and so I'm just gonna quickly do what I think the Detroit skyline looks like. I'm just gonna put it up here as part of a title, I guess. I'm gonna start with Rensen as the center of the shoe, and then we've got all the skylines over here mainly. Over here is like what is this? This is Blue Cross and Blue Shield and whatever those buildings are. So kind of boring ones. And then here we have the spiky one. I don't know what it's called. And you get what other ones? Penobscot. So I'm distorting the city a little bit, of course. But I just want to get the vibes. I really want the central part to be the Rensen. And then the buildings get taller up here, and they get down here. This is the Brook Cadillac. And then there's some other ones down here, and there's some other ones down here. I don't care. So Detroit wingtips. This is city skyline. So I'm just going to do a bunch of roughs just to build up my ideas. So just as a reminder, I'm going to do a top view of a shoe. And normally I don't do that. Normally I'm just, but in this case, I don't do ellipses normally, but in this case, I guess I will. And now, these shoes are quite pointy. Now I'm definitely making this asymmetric shape because shoes are definitely asymmetric. This is the big toe. This is the other toes. So this is the lateral side. This is medial side. Medial being inside, lateral being outside. So shoes have that kind of shape. It's not perfect, but I don't care right now. I'll get the perfect later. But what I want to show is how my wingtip is going to work. So Rensen, and then all the city going around the lateral and medial. And that's my only detail, to be honest. I don't really have any other ideas. I guess the throat doesn't go too far. They normally have this type of stuff that goes along here. Cuts in there. And then you get your laces. Okay. In fact, that's too many laces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Normally it's 3, 4 laces for this type of shoe. So I'm going to change that. But it really doesn't matter at this point. At least I got the city. So this is part of the idea. Cityscape, let's do a quick side view. I need to look at a shoe reference just for this thumbnail. So I'm gonna go back to my Adobe Bridge, which is really great for this stuff. Now, I don't like this collar. I like a collar like more like this, a little more sporty. So this is the type of, I think I'm gonna take this proportion of shoe, this one right here. And this is, I think this is 3D, but let's just blow this thing up a little bit. And on Adobe Bridge, I use it a lot because at least I can always find stuff through visuals. That's a very beautiful shape for me. So I'm gonna basically copy this collar. The collar is kind of like, you know, I was saying the toe of the shoe has character, just like the nose of a human. And, you know, that depicts a lot of character. And so also the collar. The collar depicts whether it's sporty-ish, fast, or what. So I kind of got the shape of that collar. There's a little tongue in there. It's just sticking out. It's actually really cute. It reminds me of my cat. Sometimes it just has the tip of its tongue sticking out. So some sort of just copying the shape of that toe, but make it a little bit more stylish, for me at least. The leather underneath, and then it goes across here.
Yo, Brooke, we still see the pictures of the shoes.
Oh, my bad, thank you.
Yeah.
It looks blurry, but it's not blurry. It's just because my pencil is thick and worn down a little bit. And just for reference, I'll put this by the side so you can see where I'm coming from. I want this side view right here. I'll just move this over so you can see the reference. Get rid of this. This is the shoe I'm going for. So, and this is what I was talking about as far as the silhouette. So this is kind of the shape, and it gets sharp here, cuts in. That's where the sole is. It looks a little flat, and you know what? I could just take it in Photoshop and easily pull it out, but I might do that, I don't know. Okay, so wingtips. I've got the city, I've got the Rensen up here. Rensen wraps around, and God, how am I gonna do this? And then other buildings go down, something like that. So an edgy wingtip. Wingtips have this shape that go kind of, so it's normally 3 holes. It's normally 3, but let's say 4 because that's gonna look like a 1950s bowling shoe. So let's say 4, and then it comes down like this. And if I could add some character into this eye stay, in keeping with Detroit theme, I can't think of anything right now, but anyway, that's that cute tongue that just sticks underneath. It's so cute. Stick that in. Okay, so line weights. This is a piece of leather on top. I'm going to depict that by going dark. I'm going to go dark underneath this tongue because that's also some leather underneath. And the silhouette has these little kick-ins and kick-outs where the leather goes underneath to attach to the, well, I'm all messed up. Anyway, whatever, it's just a thumbnail. Or maybe it'd be cool, since it's Detroit, it's gotta have some attitude. So maybe if my heel came out instead of being straight. Okay, so this is the basic shape, and add that extra. You have to show that thickness of the leather by putting a little clip in there, right there. Okay, so there's basically the silhouette of my shoe. I'll put in some stitches. Some stitches around here. I guess stitching goes here. Yeah, some laces. It's just simple straight lines. Because these are those thin laces. But hey, let's funk it up. Let's make it like, this is gonna maybe ugly as sin, but this is what we're gonna find out. Maybe I put fat laces on here for that Detroit kind of vibe of street urban. Along those lines of the street urban, instead of this just being one of those slippery stacked leather soles, I'm gonna put some grips in there because you gotta run sometimes. Actually, not much, but just give it that attitude. And back here, I don't know what I'm gonna do back here yet. I'll leave it. So there's my side view. Basically, I'm good. I've got my side view. I've got my top view with the theme. Let's get in. Let's see what the heel's gonna do. I don't know what the heel's gonna do. So I think I'm gonna put a piece back there, a heel support, and I'm sporting this shoe up a little bit. So maybe I put in a full tab, because you know how annoying these shoes are as far as men are concerned, and we have these shoes. This is the hardest part. You stick your finger in there and you try to pull that shoe on. This is so painful for my fingers because it's so stiff leather, patent leather. And so I need something. I don't like sticking my fingers in there. So that's why I have a pull tab. Stitch this piece on, and I'll put in a reflection. So on shoes, so this is the big toe. This is the small toe. I mean the smaller toes. This is the lateral. This is the lateral. This is the lateral side. This is the lateral side on the shoe. So this area right in here creates the most reflection, because that's that part of your foot, that flat part, kind of flattens out, and there's a lot of light that reflects off that. So I just generally stylize a reflection there. I will put in just a little bit of shading, the cores. So I'm not going all the way, okay, I'll go all the way to the end in this case. One good thing about these pencils is it's easy to shade. That's one advantage. And around, oh, I need to show leather is kicking up here. So I'm showing a little cliff in there, and then there's thicknesses of leather coming through the cut bits. So that's that. That's gonna be a pain for the prototyper to stitch, but anyway. Shit, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, here. Okay, so showing it shading around to give it that 3D look. Underneath here, because that is where it tucks in to attach to this. Okay, so it kind of looks 3D, I'm good. Same with back here. I could put a core in there, but I'm just gonna go lazy. And I want it to kick in a little bit. I'm gonna put a shadow. I don't want it, so I'm gonna do something like that. Now, for this, it's not brilliant, but I'll get in there and I'll try to, oh, I'm gonna make the dark side on the medial. So I'm gonna go dark in here. There's this leather that sticks out, so I'm showing that here with this little cliff. It goes around. Also here, it sticks out because there's this leather here. It sticks out, so I'm showing a little cliff in there. And Greg, this is showing the line weight because the sunlight's coming from above. And just to reiterate that, I'm gonna put in a shadow.
I'm still with you. I'm sketching too.
Yeah, right. So just a little shadow here. I'm just gonna go simple shading. A little tongue. This comes down here. These things are normally very thin, actually. These particular shoes have a very thin, and so there's a shadow in here because the light's coming from above, so the tongue casts a shadow, which is this. Then the side of the ankle casts a shadow. I'm going to keep that shadow consistent with this straight line stuff. Thick laces. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thick laces. So just adding thickness to them. I'm going to stop sharing and just share just my camera so you can really see more clearly, not just my desktop, but you can actually see my software. So it's pure. Okay. Just make sure it's all focused. And I hope this is better. I like to show my desktop so you can see what I see, like my shoe reference, but sometimes I get into details and you can't see it. So anyway, so shadows coming down. I'm going to shade it. I've got to turn it around, and you know, I'm going to use the edge of my pencil for this. I'm going to go, and I'm not going to go all the way. I'm just kind of using the edge of my pencil, not the sharp part. I'm just going all the way across. This is a good way to get as much surface area as possible, and it goes smoother. And I'm going to try to go dark in that far side. That's why I'm working it. And then here. So that's that side, and maybe a wee bit here. I know there's a reflection there, but just a little bit here. Since the light is coming from above, I'm going to show the thickness of that leather by putting deep shadows on these buildings. And also there's little bits here and here and here. I don't know. Okay, and there's a stitch line that goes all the way around. Poor guy or poor woman who has to put the shoe together, because this is a major pain in the neck stitch job. Hey, let's put some windows in there. I'm going to put in some suggestive windows, but wing tippy. You know how they have all those weird holes? And that's what this is suggestive of. I know it's not very well done there, but I'll execute it nicely when I start doing the real views. That's my concept. I don't need to do any more thumbnails. I'm good. I'm going to start on my actual drawings. Now, how I'm going to do this, okay, just for fun, just for you guys, I'm going to do a 3D view. And so I'm just roughing this thing out. And it's got this special collar shape. I like this very aerodynamic-y type of look. So I'm kind of good. It's not perfect proportions, but it's a good start. Show the inside of the collar a little bit. Some contour lines, very light, curves under where it joins the sole. Here, this one's going to go really poking out, curved under where it joins the sole. Now I can put in a sole. I'll put in the front, I'll put in the back. Remember, I'm kicking my back out a little bit, so give that little curve look. There. This one too, it would theoretically curve in there, and then so the heel kicks out a little bit. So I'm putting that 3D in there. Okay, and so thickness of the shoe. I don't want it too thin. I want it a little bit more urban, like Doc Martens or something. And then my sole curves around. And then it kicks up, maybe here. And then here's the rubber stuff or the leather stuff. It curves into the heel a little bit. I've got this, and then it goes underneath, of course. But this look, to me, I've never liked it. So I'm going to round off this corner. I want it a little bit more urban. So, okay. I'm going to show a shadow. I'm doing a stylish shadow because I've got an idea about how the form surfacing works on this. One thing I love about the sole, is if it's molded, you can really put in some really nice features. So I'm going to now go underneath because it's underneath the shoe. So I'm making that purposely dark. I'm going to put a core in here, dark, and then fade it out. And now I've got to go dark underneath the heel. To be honest, it kicks out a little bit too much, but I'm not going to fix that. I'm going to actually fix the shoe part instead. There's a strong line that's going to go where the upper joins the with the sole. So this is a material change. So I'm just going to follow. So it has a really good base. The toe, I'm kind of cool with that look right there, so I'm going to keep it and go make a little V in there because I'll put in laces now. This goes, I'll put in the 4 laces. So notice I have the top corner of that throat stroke collar right here, and so that's where I'm going to put my first eyelet, about here, nicely placed, right, nice and square, and another one here, 1, 2, 3. Be sure to place them in a nice distance. The lace goes up and over, up and over. I just start off with 1 line before I start getting into the thickness, but I do want those thick laces. So, and I'm just repeating those lines. But as they go into the hole, if they go into the eyelet, they crunch in because they don't, they're fat laces. So you gotta illustrate that they crunch in. I don't know what the technical term for that is. So there. Now I'm gonna start adding line weight underneath because there's a shadow. Everything's curvy, and underneath, because the laces cast a shadow in here. Okay, on the exterior, on the silhouette, you have to add all of the details. So, for example, this cups in here, and the lace goes in. Details of the silhouette. So my silhouette, you can see, has these ridges to illustrate the layer of shoelace. In between the laces are these, there's going to be some strong line in there, and then it closes up here. There's going to be a little piece of leather in there like that. So now you can see, and then also the other side, that's the other side of the top of the eye stay, and then the tongue comes out. All these little tiny details matter. Okay, so there's my tongue, just barely hiding in there. Let's make that strong. So now I've got the vamp. So to do this, I'm just eyeballing it, going light, because I don't know if this is going to work. And it curves under. So I guess that's cool. But before I go dark, I'm going to just get all my shapes in. Then I'm going to go dark and do shadows. Okay, I've got this piece that comes up around. I want it to go all the way in to the top, curves around to the underside of the upper. And now I've got this city thing. So I'm going to try to make this look like buildings. I'm going to go light because I'm obviously going to make a lot of mistakes. Let me start up here with this rinse in. I'm going to make it go way up. I got to adjust my drawing here. I want this to go way up and exaggerated. So I want it up here. This is the rinse in. There's the other part of the rinse in. And I have to adjust my shapes. Honestly, I'm just winging this. Winging it. Oh God, so weird. So that's a rinse in. So now I have to modify my drawing a little bit because this leather sticks out on top of the rinse in. Oh, I'm not going to go heavy. I got to stop it. I'm starting to make a mistake, so I'm going to stop it now. But I have to show that leather sticks out, and you can tell with this little cliff I've built in there. And then also the same with this piece. It wraps around, and it also has thickness to leather. So of leather. So I'm going to add that. Probably don't see it so much here, but you will see it as it goes around. You will see it a little bit because it's a front view. Okay, so now I'm going to pop that piece off. So you can see that there's leather there, and also here. And now I start putting in the leather thickness with shading. It's a little ugly, I have to admit. It's a little bit too big, that leather. And I'm gonna deal with it now because it's bothering me. And this could be the page that I show my boss. Say, look, I got this concept. What do you think? And he says, yeah, go for it. And then I'll draw it nicer. If he says yes, go for it, or she, whoever. But I'm gonna get rid of that thing right now. You cannot erase this pencil. It just smears and looks terrible. I'm using my white out, shook it up nice and good. I'm gonna get a nice crisp line in there. Where I made the mistake. Hopefully one stroke. Yes, I'm good. I just did one stroke. I don't know if you can see it. You cannot really see it so clearly, but it's there. Well, it's there. It's just I did one stroke and it worked out good. Let that dry. Okay, start getting in some more details. I'm going around where there's that stitching. You know what? This should have been straight. Shoot. Should have been straight. But it's okay. Now I'm going to go inside here with some big stitches. I don't want those small stitches. I want big stitches. Just got to go in there patiently. Oh, now it's straight. So I'm going to have to really go hard on this right back here. Try to correct my mistake. It's fine. And stitches that go all the way around. Big ones, like, I don't know, at least 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now I had some details as far as it's going to be leather. I'm going to go classy. It's going to be leather, but the very bottom is going to be molded. So this is going to be leather in between. So I'm going to just go in there slow and easy and put that leather in. And you know what? I'm going to make it go. It's going to be a leather cup that goes down. So that's all going to be leather. I'm going to make that a very strong line because it's a material separation. In here, I'll just go really light. This is going to be two strips of leather in between these two. Or maybe it's going to have to be more. I don't know. It is what it is. Anyway, that's all leather strips. But now I'm going to get in there hard with the line that goes around the separation between leather and rubber, which is this line here. Just fading that off. Don't need to do it all monoline. It goes like that, and then it cuts it down into here, and this is where the leather and rubber join down here. I put some grips in there. I don't need it to go into the Achilles, into the arch of the foot because there's no need for grip. Okay, and I just need to, in this case, I will erase because I don't mind if it blurs. I want to get rid of this little line in there. There's a little line I put in there. Oh, Jesus. All right, it's gone pear-shaped, but not necessarily, not necessarily. Let me just get in there. I want to show that this is rubber down here. this dark line is all rubber, and I'm going to shade it in, I think. Well, it actually kind of worked out kind of coolish. That little happy mistake. Darker as I go deeper into the cave for the shadow. Okay, and this is all rubber. So I'm going to shade it in. I'm just going to use the edge of my pencil so I can just do one stroke. Instead of using the sharpness, I'm going to use the edge. So I'm holding the pencil differently. And I'll fade off. I'll go dark here and I'll fade off because you want that line weight, that gradient shading stuff. And down here, make it dark on the end. Okay. And start doing some shading. I'll put in some stitching on the wingtip. Okay, good enough. Some separation of materials, so I'm going in there a little bit darker just to pop that detail off the page. Now, that's not bad. Let me put in a shadow. And I'm good enough. That's good enough for me. Not even gonna put in a back. Let's start getting in this detail of the leather. So the leather, you'll see only certain areas like here. So I'm making that super dark, thick like leather. And as it goes over, leather here, and then it nicely gradients over, goes in here. Okay, let me put in some stitching. Oh, damn it, I sharpened the pencil, it's fine. Stitching in here. Kind of realistic proportion stitching, not these crazy stitches that some people do, unless you wanted that ragdoll look. But this is not that ragdoll look. So it's clearly leather on top. There's stitching that goes underneath the laces. And it goes around the collar. Okay, I didn't go into here. I didn't go into the heel section because it's going to be a separate stitching line. So we'll make that nice and thick because it's a leather piece on top. So it curves underneath, comes up. Kick it in. And then put some leather, some stitching that goes in here, goes up, and it's going to be a nice smooth transition with that stitch line that goes into the back there. Let's start popping off this collar a little bit more. That's inside the shoe. So the deepest part of the shoe is obviously inside. So I'm going to start darkest near me. And then as I go back, I'm going to fade it off because it catches probably more light. Now what? I need to put in this loop, finger loop. It's going to go up here. I just go super light because I don't know if I'm going to do it correctly. It has 3 dimensions. So that's the other side. And it has thickness, so I'm putting in that thickness. I'm going to go dark underneath because that's the shadowy part. So it's underneath. Oh, I see a mistake. That goes inside. So be sure to show that that goes inside. Show how things layered by making it dark here. Where lines intersect, like here, and right here. Where lines intersect is a great opportunity to add some line weight. So it stops and gets dark, and then here's the finger hole, and then here it's dark. You can clearly see it's two pieces layered on top of each other. And then here, I'm knocking it out because it needs to show that there's layer of leather above it. Okay. I will just make this one darker because that's where it joins. I'm gonna do the same here where this leather joins onto the other leather just underneath. Okay, that's basically it. I'll shade this in a little bit, this hole. What else? Am I forgetting anything? Okay, basically I'm ready to start shading it. And it's always a little scary for me to do this, but let's start shading. For certain, I know that there's gonna be a dark line going all the way underneath. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use the edge of my pencil, using the tip, and I guess I'm gonna start here in the middle. Let's just see how this comes out. Kind of gives it a natural gradient. So that's the bottom part. That's one thing I know. I always start with the things I know because I don't know exactly where the reflection's going to go, but I guess I'm going to just very loosely draw it in. Next, section by section, render each section. It depends, but basically, let's just get in there a little bit. Basically, I'm just going to shade this section in first, in between the wingtip and the ramp. I mean the ice stays thing. And I'm good for now. I'm good. It shows some 3D. I'm gonna do the same with the toe. Show some 3D. I'm good for now. And the same back here. Okay, starting to get its 3D look. I'm gonna do the same for up here. I'm gonna avoid the laces. Just a little bit of shading. Step by step. Okay, so normally there's a reflection line goes all the way through here. It comes here. Comes here. So what do I want to do? I could use paint or something. So I'm just figuring it out. I'll do the reflection later. So I'm just going to shade this up, just section by section. And as it rounds up, it's lighter. Start off darker down here again. Same with here. As up here, it's going to be lighter. So no, right here's the brightest part. So okay, this is always risky. Could ruin the drawing. Keep that light, and then down here. I think I'm good enough. You know, I don't want to ruin. I could get super anal in there, but I might ruin the drawing, so I'm not going to risk it. Now the toe has some curve as well, so I'm going to add a little bit of shading there. A little bit more around the top, just pop it off. A little bit more around the back, that's going to be quite dark. Bring it around. And there's a dark one under here. It's actually a reflection, to be honest. Okay, there's that. So the upper is more or less done. I'm good enough with that. Make my holes, my eyelets darker. Now I got to render the sole. Well, we're going to do the easiest part first and just simply shade this dark back here, and it fades off. That automatically adds roundness, and then the same with the front here. Okay, it's already dark. No, it already starts to look round, but there's curvature to the sole. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of shading right in this area because that's kind of where the arch of your foot is. And I'm going to fade off. I'm not going to go too crazy on this. There. I'm pretty good with that. Underneath the shoe, go dark, because I'll shade in the shadow. And I'm gonna just do this really simply. Darkest near me. I'm using my finger, my left hand, as a guide. I'm just gonna let it go dark, shade it off into nothing as it goes back. A little bit of curvature up here too. A little bit of darkness underneath these laces because there's a negative space in between the lace and the tongue, because they kind of fly. They're kind of like bridges. All right, there's my Detroit shoe. It probably needs a logo somewhere, but I'm good as is. So this is it. So this is my page of thumbnails, and I'm ready to go to a little bit more of a production drawing. Filled up the page. Now, how long has that taken me? 10, 8:30, 30 minutes messing around, say an hour. So that's how I do that. So our class ends at, hey, by the way, some of you have not given me homework correctly, and I'll have to go through it a little bit, but the dude, Andrew Dems, who's not here, Jemiah, are you here, Jemiah? Or Jemiah, I think you owe me a homework from 08, September 08. Greg, I think you owe me a homework as well, but I will talk about that. I'll send you an email. I'll recheck my records. But I just want to see this class. What time do you think this class ends? 11:15 or 11:30?
11:15.
11:15. All right. I've got an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, so I've got my thumbnail ready, and I'm going to just take a quick break, quick bathroom break, and be back in a second and refill my coffee, and then I'm going to get into the other shoe. I know not the other shoe. I'm just going to develop this perfect side, perfect top view, and show you how I take it from thumbnail. So just bear with me a sec. I'm just going to turn off my video just for a sec. And let's all go grab a quick break, okay? We'll be back in like 5.
All right, I'll see you.
Yep, yep. All right, back. Okay, I'll turn on my share screen. Is everyone back?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Share my screen. Go back to this visualizer. Share. Okay, so now I was going to use pencil for the whole thing today, but I realized this is going to be a drawing which has got to be crispy, and I don't think I'm going to use a pencil for this, and I'm going to have to erase. I just want pure black and white, so I'm going to go ballpoint pen for this next step. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the share and share my my desktop, so you can see really what I'm doing through Photoshop and everything else. Desktop, share. Okay, you can see my desktop. There's my visualizer, my camera. We've got those here. So I'm going to choose the proportions that I want. So the marketing people actually say, a lot of the time, they say this is the trend right now. This is the shape that's trendy. So do a shape like that. That's selling well. So do a shape like that. So I'm forced to do a shape like that. So fair enough. That's my side view. Hey, notice I know this is black, so you might not be able to see clearly, but notice how even though you see the other side of the collar, so it's right there, and here's the lateral side. So generally in shoes, you see a little bit of the color. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, you might have a color in there, a color block, like maybe it's red inside, maybe there's a pattern. So the marketing people want to see a little bit of the color. So anyway, so there's my side view. I'm going to take this into Photoshop. Just drag it in there. Okay, let's just get rid of Cameron's drawing. There's my side view, and I hope there's a nice top view of this shoe. Please say there's a top view of this shoe. That's a square toe. I can work with a square toe. I'm gonna use a square toe. That'll work nicely with my cityscape wingtip. So I'm gonna drag that into Photoshop as well. So I've got my two underlays. All you really need is a side view and a top view. I'm gonna work these two together. So I'm gonna set up my drawing, new drawing. It's gonna be it's gonna be letter size. So I go to print, letter, landscape, 300 DPI. Great. Now I'm going to grab those two shoe pictures. I'm just going to get one of those. I'm going to just get it nice and, hold on. Let's try again. Okay, there's my top view. Oh, no, I'm cutting off the edge there. One more time. I want to get it all. I'm a little OCD like that. Okay, Control C, copy, paste it into my document, Control V, Control T, which is transform, rotate it. This up here is my lateral side, and this is my medial side. So I'm going to line that up with the side view. Control A, which is select all. Control A, Control C, copy. Back to my document, Control V. Paste, obviously. So I'm going to put the top on top. No, I actually chose the wrong shoe. The wrong top view. So I'm going to go back to the top view, and I'm going to choose the other one. So deselect. because the logo, I don't want to have to flip the thing. So I might as well do it correct from the beginning. Control copy, back to my document, get rid of this top view, Control V, paste that shoe on there, rotate it around. Okay, there, I've got my two views, and I'm gonna make sure they're lined up. So I just use these guides over here, pull it over from the rulers. Control R to get rulers. Control R is turn. Command R, Control R, they're off. Control R turns them on. So that one's, I've got that line in there, and I'm gonna just line this up. Roughly. They don't have to line up perfectly, but the toes need to kind of line up quite well. So I'm gonna get these guides here, and the back is not super important, because there's perspective involved. You know, they took that photo, the thing's sticking out because there's perspective, but in side view, but it doesn't matter, to be honest. So there, okay. So everything's lined up. I'm ready to draw this thing. Let's just erase out the top part. Let's just go to the top view and erase this out. I don't want it to be airbrush, I want it to be hard brush. I'm gonna do a little experiment here. Since it's a black shoe, it's hard to see details. So I'm gonna do a little filter on this. Filter outlines, it's called. I don't use this much. There's no one that can wing it, but I'm gonna show you guys. Sharpen, stylize. I think it's in stylize. I don't, as I say, I don't do this much. Stylize, extrude, find edges. See what happens. Wow, that came out great. Okay, I'm good with that. I don't need to adjust it. Side view, I'm gonna find outlines again, so it's filter. Stylize. Find edges. Oh, you find edges. Well, that came out really nice. Okay, great. I'm gonna merge these two layers together. These two right here. Get rid of this one. I don't need it. Keep it simple. Layers start to build up, and you really want to control your layers. That's if you start going Photoshop hardcore. So merge down, and I'm going to reduce the opacity big time, so I can draw on top of it. It's not that far. Like, I don't know, 15, 17%. So it's 17% opacity. Make it bigger. And I really want to fill up the page. Okay. Now I'm going to print.
Wait, I have a question. Was that image trace that you just did, or I'm not sure how you just got that outline?
No, it's not image trace, because firstly, image trace is in Illustrator, Lauren, but this is Photoshop.
Oh, it is. Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, this is Photoshop, and so I'm going filter, stylize, and then find edges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's very useful. I'm going to print it, and yeah, just print it and see how it comes out. Okay. Just wait a second for it to come through. Connecting to printer. Okay. Okay, got my print. I will turn on my camera now. So you saw the Photoshop. So now I'm gonna go straight in there. I'm gonna unshare screen and share just purely my camera. So you get a pure vision. I'm just having a hard time. I gotta stop the share 1 sec because it's I can't. Just adjusting my like desktop and stuff. Okay, so I can share screen now. Visualizer, share. Okay, so you can see my printout. I have a pad of paper underneath because my desk is uneven, so it just pads it out. All right, I'm gonna do something I normally don't do, but I'm gonna have trouble designing that Detroit skyline on there. So I'm gonna use a mechanical pencil to do just a very loose drawing to see if I can get that skyline to fit. Okay. So I'm just using just a simple 05 mechanical pencil because I might have to erase. And then I'll go on with pen. So Rensen, it's going to be the main thing. So I'm just going to start off with that main tower. And then there's others. So I think I'm going to start curving this. So those are the other towers. Just stylizing this, and then it kicks in, and then there's the other buildings. And I'm going to try to, that's that side. This is all the cityscape. Just rough that in and distort this stuff. You know, whatever. I do actually want to get into hardcore buildings, but I think that's going to be at a later date. If I go into Illustrator and do final drawings, then I will really do. But for now, this is good enough. So I'm good with this. That toe looks kind of cool. So, and I always forget. So I have to write this for myself, and I do this all the time. Lateral, medial, because sometimes I'll get mixed up when I'm drawing and stuff. But anyway, lateral, medial, and this is obviously lateral. So I'm going to go down. I know it's all lined up just from it was on my computer, and just visually, just drawing some lines so I get the edge of my toe piece lined up, and then also the rinse end comes up to about here. So I'm going to start putting in the rinse end. The main tower comes up, and then I'm going to do just a quick outline of the silhouette, and I'll start adding buildings in there. Okay, that's my buildings, and that's my Rensen. This should come up a little bit further, I feel. Just a lot of adjustments. Okay, and I hope there's an eraser on the end. Yes, brand new eraser. Just get rid of that stuff. I knew I'd have to erase a little bit because working on these details, you have to figure stuff out. And so anyway, it's all done. I can get straight into ballpoint pen. Well, actually, while I'm on the pencil, I'm going to figure out this shape. So it goes straight down. Okay, I need 1, 2, 3, 4 eyelets, and it kicks down into here like that. It's a little old-fashioned. No, I'm going to change that. So I'm going to erase. Damn it. I'm going to go. But it's going to save me time in the end, and it'll make the drawing look better. I just want a little more edgy. I don't want it so classic. Just some lines I can't see. Just make them a little stronger. And then what else? I've got this piece that folds in there. So I'm going to do that. Put in the collar. I could do this whole thing in pencil, actually. No, that'll save time. And it's all about saving time. So I'm going to do this. I might do this whole thing in pencil, but we'll see. So I've got this piece that comes in and it kicks down, round that corner off. So those are my shapes. Now what else? I've got a way thicker sole here, so I'm gonna just modify this a little bit. I'm gonna keep that line because I don't want to mess with that line, but I am gonna increase the bottom to make it thicker. So I'm gonna increase the thickness by a little bit. Sole, I think I'm curving it around, so I'm gonna curve that sole around. It's not one of those normal leather stacked jobbies. And this kicks out here as well for a little sportiness. Okay, next, actually I can use this line that I worked, that was the original bottom of the shoe. I'm gonna use that as my rubber line, where the rubber comes up. I want to kick back here just to add some funk. So that's my rubber. And just as a reminder of the rubber, I'm going to put in some treads. And I think I had treads in the back here as well. Okay, so that's ready to, I might as well put in the laces. Luckily the laces are already basically drawn in for me. They dive into the hole because of thick laces. That's why I make them like that. Just put in little lines. Okay, that's my laces. I think this is good to go. Am I forgetting anything? Yes, I'm forgetting the loop in the back. So it's inside, so it's going inside there. It's two pieces, so I definitely draw in those two pieces. Well, it's actually one strap, but just stitched together. One strip of leather. And so that's that. Could be an ugly shoe, but that's the whole point in drawing it out to see if it really is ugly. Okay, the toe's done. I'm gonna line up where the eye stay starts. And it starts here. I'm gonna line up where this part doesn't matter so much. So I'm gonna put in a center line. There's center line, and it kicks up here. It's not one center line. It's kind of twisted, so it goes up like that. That's where it ends. But so laces don't line up because the photograph's wrong. So I'm just gonna have to wing it and just do a proportional drawing. So here's the throat. It's actually got a really nice shape here. I'm going to just wing the laces in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just put in a simple line and thicken it up because they're fat laces. And they dive in. And then the throat closes here. And now it's going to be a little thinner here. And then proportionally, it kicks in here. Starts to kick right in. That transition starts to happen at the second lace. So something like this. And it's going to be edgy. So I'm just going to make sure those are lined up nice there. And then it kicks in there. Okay. And then the heel piece lines up roughly here. And so I'm going to put that in. And it lines up to the collar there. So I'm just going to do a straight line in there. It's good enough for me. And the same here. The finger pull is going to be like this. Straight. Okay. I think I have everything. Let me just compare the two. Got that detail, got that detail, got that. Okay, I've got my wingtips, I think I've got most everything that I can think of. I'm gonna just modify this because I don't like it squarey like that. I want it roundy. So I'm gonna modify the photograph. And also the heel comes out a little bit, so I'm gonna add that. And it lines up the heel kind of, actually no, the whole thing is gonna go all the way around a little bit in there. And here too. You know what? I made a mistake. On the medial, on that lateral, you see it all the way. But on the medial, it tucks in. So it goes in like this, goes in like that. And this comes in here. So let me erase out that mistake. And it definitely makes an effect. It definitely looks better at what I'm doing now. How I'm fixing this. Just notice how that looks cool, how this dives underneath the upper. And then the upper goes around. And then the heel is just gonna just naturally dive underneath. Just go over all that. Okay, we're good. So I need to start adding the leather thickness. So leather is gonna be coming in here and it's gonna come up. I'm doing everything light because I can go over it later. So the leather, and the same here, you can see leather thickness here. And it comes up and it goes along here around these corners. Same on this side. It's gonna, you can see leather thickness. Wait, hold on. What am I doing? Oh yeah. And then that goes in here. I think I'm gonna do all this in pencil, it'll save me time. And then this is a smooth transition. Well, actually you can see some leather. So this transitions into the heel. And then this little piece of heel leather, you'll see that come up and around. And I'm gonna join those two pieces. So you definitely see those levels of layers. Kicks out, and then goes around. Notice how I'm not doing everything mono line. I'm doing it kind of, oh, I screwed up. Good thing I did it in pencil. Just minor stuff. Oh. That's why I don't like pencil, it smears. Okay, but on the other hand, at least I can correct my stuff. This has kind of got this very edgy type of look. This is kind of cool. All right, so I've got my layers, and then they're gonna kick up because this material changes. So there, up here, I'm gonna kick this one up too. And this is this line weight stuff. So not making everything monoline, but I am being anal about keeping everything symmetrical. I'm just gonna kick up from the bottom there. Okay, start putting in this dark line where the heel piece. So there's that. Now what? Oh, okay, so there's leather thickness you see from the top for sure. I'll go slow. And it goes all the way around. And I do have to be kind of slow and anal about this. Same here. I'm going light because I'm going to get darker in a few minutes. But everything is light to start with. Okay, that's my thickness of leather. I'm going to start getting into the sunlight. I'm gonna start getting into where the light source is. So my sunlight is up here, just generically up, and so it's gonna affect how I do my line weights. So now I can get darker in here, because this is all on the underside. And this leather is gonna cast a shadow. Okay. Down here, so notice I have two lines, 1, 2. And this is obviously the inside of the leather, but you see the obvious leather thickness. And I'm only highlighting the inner part. Don't, because this is one material. Just because it has a surface change, here's a contour line. Just because it has a surface change, it's still the same material. So I don't need to do a thick line in here. This is just a reflection line, basically. But in here, this is a beast of a line because it's the shadow and it's going deep inside the collar. So I'm definitely gonna make that dark. And then this leather part goes all the way into the throat. And then it kicks in here. Okay, so now the reason why I'm working on the top more than working on the bottom is because if I start coloring in this bottom a lot, it's gonna smear because I'm gonna have to then go back to the top and start coloring in all the top and line weights and stuff, and it's gonna smear the crap out of this. So start from the top of your drawing and work your way down. So that's why I'm doing this, like this. Okay, now let's start getting into, okay, I'm gonna work my way from left to right. So I'm gonna start doing these laces. Definitely dark on this side because it's casting a shadow. Especially where they dive in. Okay, a little bit of material separation in there between the laces and the throat. And I'll put in a little extra in here. Okay, while I'm on this side, because the thing is, I don't want to keep going, have to go here and here and here and here, because it's gonna smear the crap out of my drawing. So as much as I can, I try to start here and work my way towards the toe. So it's kind of start here, go across, and then again, I'll start here on the bottom and go across. But I need to erase something. And that eraser I used was a piece of junk. So in here, there's a strap, I mean, not strap, but finger pull. So I'm gonna put that in there, and I'm gonna add actually a little bit of 3D-ness to it. I'm gonna show it. So you see that it does, it's a little bit, might not be true to life, but so there's that, and it goes, works with the ankle, the Achilles tendon. Okay, so, and it showed that it's a piece of leather on top, and so I'm trying to put in little ridges in there, and showing that leather thickness. That's what that is. And then phase 2 of the leather, which is the heel piece. Okay. Now, so I've got in my finger pull. I'll put a logo in there. I'm going to call this the D. So I'm going to put in a British D. That's what that is. That's a British D. I'm going to start putting in the difference between this heel and here, and then also the sole, or the, yeah, this is the sole basically. This is the heel part of the sole. I'm good with that. And so I don't smear my drawing up. I'm going to have another piece of paper. I have a piece of paper that goes on top. So my hand under here, it's already starting to get dirty. You can't see it, but I can see it. the carbon's starting to get on my hand, and I want to keep this clean. I don't want to have to erase it and do too much Photoshop. So since I don't want to mess up my nice line work, I'm going to put this on top, and I'm just going to go so I don't smear the other stuff. Now these lines are going to be darker because they're on the shadow side. I'll do it in a few minutes, but just want to get this sole going around. Let's start putting in, oh, okay, I have a piece of leather that's sticking out here, so let's just put that in. Leather thickness. Let's just first get the silhouette, main silhouette. Just kind of fine tune it a little bit. And same with the other side. So I'm not following perspective rules completely. I don't want to get too hung up on it, but let's get how this toe, I actually really like this toe. I wouldn't buy these shoes myself, but I like the styling of these things. So I'm gonna get in there, draw how that toe goes. And don't forget, this is leather on top, so it's gonna stick out. You'll see leather thickness on a lot of this, but it kicks out there. And then it goes around. Sorry about all this rotation, but it's just how I have to do it. Go slow. Now the sole. Just trace the existing sole. Okay. See some thickness in there. Okay. Around the sole. Now this side down here is going to be way darker. So okay. I think it's more or less done. Just finish off some of these laces. This is a little roundy. There's another thickness. Definitely thick in between there because this is deep inside. This is getting quite deep into the shoe. There's going to be a shadow underneath each one of these laces because these laces act like a bridge. So I'm going to put in these deep shadows. So you'll see it starts to add some 3D material thickness. Material difference. Okay. And finally, let's start putting in I wanted to put in some windows. Basically, wingtips have those holes. Let's just put in some 3D on this leather. Just with simple strokes, just to suggest. So it kind of looks a little 3D, showing that leather thickness. Okay. I wanted to put some windows in here, so I'm going to do stylish window, Renson type windows, which to me would be maybe long holes. And so since the light's coming from above, I'm going to put in that shadow under each hole because there's leather there. Okay, there's my, and I don't think I'm going to do any holes on the rest. It's too much right now. Now I'll start doing some nice stitching to the right scale. None of that ragdoll stitching. It's lazy. So it just takes time to do this and patience. Just be patient and do it. Lacing, I mean not lacing, stitching. Okay, I'm good enough with that. Okay, stitched on. Next layer, next stitching job is around the ramp here. This will be an okay line drawing and I'll photocopy it for sure, and then I can apply shading. But, you know, it was actually a smart move for me to use pencil all along. Otherwise, if I use my ballpoint pen, then it would be way more sketchy. This is a little bit more precise, which is fine. Let's put some stitching around the throat. And then as the stitching goes around the collar, you're not going to really see it because it starts to fade off into perspective. So I'm not going to go deep into that. I'm just going to fade it off. Good enough. And there's going to be stitching along here. Same with the other side. The time. Okay, good. We're good for time. So I think my stitching on the finger pull, it's leather, so. And we're gonna put a D in. I've already got a D here. Don't put two logos on one view. It's a little bit ridiculous. So I'm gonna put in here Detroit Soul. I'm not even gonna design this yet. I'll do that later. Detroit Soul. Okay. Just for fun, I'll just put in some lines in here to show that the shadow. Oh shoot, I messed up. Because I really want it to be coming straight down. I don't want, you know, actually I didn't mess up. I'll keep it like that because it adds a little funk. There's my new light source. All right, next bottom. Let me readjust my camera. Oh, you can pretty much clearly see. Do you need me to zoom in or are you okay? All right, but I'm having issues with, let's see, if I move it down here.
Yeah, that look good right there.
Okay, then good. Okay, then. So next, I'm going to start off with a ruler in this one. Or straight edge, whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be a ruler, but it's just nice to get a good base. So since this is a more of a techie type drawing, I'm going to go there and just put in a base. Okay, very good. I don't need the ruler anymore. I guess I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. I don't need the paper right now because I haven't put any lines in. Just tracing that shoe. Actually, I do need that paper. It's a little bit 3D. And then back here. Notice a little three-dimensionality in the tongue. And that gives me the opportunity to show leather. So that's a little bit of 3D there. And that tongue will come down into the shoe. And here's a little bit more 3D of the other side of the rope. Okay, let's start getting in there in between these laces. And I'll get in there with the laces. Start fleshing those out. And you know, laces are kind of fluffy. Let's just get all of those laces at once. I kind of like to do it like how factories work. You know, they'll work on like putting doors on for the day or the week, and then they'll get good at that, and then they'll move them on to something else the next day or next week because they get bored. So anyway, they get fast and good when you do them all at once. Muscle memory type stuff. Okay, so it's laces and the eyelets. Okay. I'm gonna definitely make sure that I show leather thickness here because it's important. I'm gonna kick it down. You know, I'm gonna just reiterate that there's leather coming out of here by putting in little thingies like this. It just helps describe that there's leather in there. Okay, start rounding off some of this. Around that. This is going to be quite a heavy shadow because it's definitely a leather piece on top. But I'll deal with that shortly. Let's just get the basics. Notice how, Greg, notice how I'm doing the line weight. Here's going to be a highlight because the sun, theoretically, the light's coming from above, so I'm not going to, I purposely don't join the lines. Okay, let's go.
So you're giving it a cast shadow, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I haven't done it yet, Greg. But I'm going to.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So here we go. Here's this back piece, and then it curves in. And so here's another example of line weight. The light's coming from above, so in the heel, I'm going to do dark, but I'm going to go light as I go up because it's casting shadows down there. And down here is going to be all pretty heavy where it joins the sole. This is always a very heavy line no matter what shoe company you're working for. And let's just go all the way down. I'm glad this picture has a little bit of three-dimensionality, the picture that I stole, because it really will help with it looking convincing. And it makes it easier for me, because I don't think I would have put in a lot of this stuff if it weren't for the photograph. I would have just been perfectly straight flat. But this has some 3D, which is actually kind of nice. So the sole is now attached. Now let's start getting in with this toe detail. Leather thickness, you're going to see that for sure. leather detail, leather thickness detail. Try to line up all my lines so it's kind of neat. See some leather detail there, thickness, and you'll see some leather detail there, thickness-wise. Okay, there's my city, and I think that's pretty okay as is. Let me get into the sole now. No, I'm gonna put in the little bit of 3D with the finger pull. Just erase out that little line. I made a little mistake. It wasn't a mistake, it's just. So this drawing is showing how this little piece is made. It's just a simple strip of leather folded on each other. And you'll be able to see that with all of my little lines. So let's get in there dark underneath here. This is going to be deep, deep dark because it's really, and let's just shade that in now. Okay, now let's just get into the silhouette of this sucker. Outsole, which is the rubber. Oh, there's no, I don't know if you consider this a midsole. Honestly, I don't know. I know sports shoes are, but sports shoes are different. But let's just separate the rubber from the leather. So this is kind of a combination of rubber outsole with, I don't know if you call it midsole, but with a leather traditional leather kind of construction of a dress shoe. Just getting in the details of the rubber. Because it's molded, I can get away with all of this like curvy stuff. But I wouldn't be able to do that with leather. Maybe you could if you're really smart with leather. And I'll put in some cleats or some tread. Okay. I think all the drawing more or less is done. I just need to start putting in the details like the line weights. So leather's thick. You know what? I'm going to try to preserve, I try to preserve the dark line. So I just started to put a line underneath there, but I'm going to use that dark line as the shadowy part. And instead, I'm going to go work it into this part so I can make this line way lighter. Because you want to have that line weight thickness. And so big shadows down here. Nice big heavy lines. Also, before I start moving down towards the bottom of the shoe, I'm going to also really beef up the bottom of these laces because they're going to be casting shadow. Okay. And here I've got a thick line, so I'm just going to just add a really light line over to show that there's leather thickness. Okay. So this looks a little obnoxiously heavy, to be honest. And you know what? It is a little obnoxiously heavy. And so I'm just gonna, so thank goodness I have this nice fresh eraser. And I'm gonna just reduce it a little bit. This is called, well, I coined this as negative line weights. It's like you're taking away, if you have a very precise eraser like I actually do right here, I can actually very delicately really make my line weights nicer by just shaving off some of it. Okay, and some little bit of leather thickness here. Okay, so I'm gonna start getting in like this heavy underneath these parts because it's the material separation. Under here. Just on certain parts. Just have to be conscious of where the light's coming from. Okay, and this is just bothering me a little. It's just a minor thing, but minor things add up. If you have a lot of minor things, your whole shoe's gonna look terrible. So just try to, if you see an issue, fix it then and there. Okay. Now I'm gonna start putting in stitching. It's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but, and you know, when you are drawing stitching, you realize if I'm having a hard time drawing this stitching, the poor person who's making that prototype is gonna have doubly hard time. So it kind of makes you aware of what hell you're putting the prototyper through. So I realize I'm putting him through hell, and I'll talk to him or her, whoever's making my shoe, say, look, bro, is this doable? Is it doable in production, or is it too much? And then they'll say whatever feedback they have, and then I'll modify it. But it's funny just how drawing a shoe, you realize how it's constructed, because you got to figure out all this stuff. And so it's a learning curve for you as well in designing a shoe, and is it doable? If you can't figure out how to do it, fashion is very different. Fashion, you got to know what you're doing and how it's going to be made. If you're working for Nike or a big company like that, they have enough money and funds to just throw it at the engineer, say, look, this is the design. We like it a lot. We don't know how it can be built. You figure it out. In fashion, that's like if you're working for, you know, big sport company. But if you're working for a fashion company, even as big as Gucci, that doesn't really work because they don't have that type of engineering. They do, but not as much as Nike. Okay. All my stitching is in except for around the collar. I'm going to do an extra little stitch just for bonus. Just right here.
Hey, Brook.
Yes?
Are these what you are expecting for next week Tuesday? Like this type of style where it's like the side view and top view? Or are you expecting where it's just like the 3 different angles?
Oh, 3 different angles? Like, what do you mean 3 different angles? Or you mean, what do you
Like
mean?
that. So like the first one you did?
Yeah. Oh, with
Yeah. So do you want it like that or do you want it like the one that you're doing now?
Try a drawing with a 3D shoe. Try to do this step for 2 pages, 2 of your homework pages. Try to do, you know, try to do a thumbnail session. If you call this thumbnails, I just jumped straight in, but whatever. Try to do a 3-view quick sketch to figure out what you're doing, and then go into a nice view, like top and side view. That would be
And that should be for like 2 of the pages, and then the rest can just be like thumbnails, or?
yeah. Well, try to do what I'm doing as much as you can, but yeah. So I think I remember saying on Tuesday, I think I said that you guys were asking what's for homework, and I was like, do some thumbnails, do bags or shoes, whatever you want to do. And I guess that, so it was hard for me to say on Tuesday what I was going to do. I forgot that I was going to do shoes. I would say each week, if I'm doing shoes this week, then I would do shoes, and you can throw in a couple of bags as well. Next week, I'll go back to bags. So I would say the next week, do kind of more bag focused stuff. Try to recreate the drawings that I'm creating. But still, I mean, you should be doing 7 pages. This is a couple of pages. You might even have an extra superfluous page of shoes, just really, really thumbnails, like really loose, just to figure out how to design. I had this in my head from last night, so I didn't need to do that. But so, you know, try to duplicate what I'm demonstrating, so you can kind of remember. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, great. So,
I have a quick question actually.
Yep.
And you may have already answered this, but you know how like in the first week you had us do like 3 different bags per page with 3 different perspectives. Do you want us to do just 1 shoe per page, like you're doing, or do you want us to do like a few on like 1 page in different perspectives?
well, you know, I'm kind of leave it up to you, but I mean, here I've got like 3 views in 1 page, with a 3D,
Okay.
and you guys should probably try doing something like a little 3D, and then you can't get away from this. This is 2 shoes. This is all you can fit on here. A simple top and a simple side. So I would try to do a drawing like this as well. So basically, you know, you're going to do some thumbnails. You're going to do something like this just to rough out your idea and then take it formally into more of a flat orthographic view. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just going to finish up this line drawing, but I'm nearly done. And I'm not going to shade this because it's too good to shade in right now. And, you know, I could, I'll ruin it if I shade it in. So I will photocopy this. But at least I'm showing you how I do the line drawing. And actually, I would take this into Photoshop personally. But maybe at a later point, maybe I can show you how I might color it in. But I would definitely photocopy it because I don't want to waste all this time and screw it up with some marker, if that also makes sense. So, okay, so I started the shading process and the style by this little piece in here. So I'm gonna just shade a little bit, just the color blocks. So I'm gonna shade in the collar, which I'm gonna start, it's darkest and deepest in here. So I'm gonna start off dark in here and I'm gonna fade it out. And how I'm gonna do this is, I don't know yet. I don't know, I'll have to wing it a little bit. I'm doing my parallel lines. And you know what, even if I go outside, I'm not gonna go outside on the bottom part right here, but I will go outside out here. And it doesn't really matter because I can always erase it out. But I'm definitely gonna get that gradation. And as I go over here, it'll get lighter, but I'm definitely gonna fill it in. And that's because I changed my light source. I changed my light source to over here. So that's gonna help justify my shading. And just get in there and just while I'm at it, just erase out with my very fine eraser. These are the best erasers, to be honest, unless you're erasing big time. When you're doing this type of work, the pencil works all as a nice tight unit. The eraser is thin, so you can work with it. And get, here. So you can buy replacement erasers. This is Pentel. I mean, when you're in this is different. Well, there's like a universal size of these little erasers. And you buy a little packet of this, and they all kind of fit, whether it's Pentel, this is Draft Line, whatever that is. But they all kind of fit together. So when I run out of this, I can get another one and put it in. So it's very, very useful, way bigger than using a block rubber. And this thing is smearing the crap out of everything, so I'm throwing that thing away. And I'm a stickler for caps, so I'm gonna keep my cap on there. Because if you don't keep your cap on there, this thing starts to dry out, and when it dries out, this eraser will smear. So I try to keep the cap on. Oh yeah, okay, so there's a few things I want to do apart from stitching. I just remembered. I want to show some, so apart from shading, I'm sorry, I'm going to be putting in these big stitches. Now, you see, you're putting in big stitches here to complement these stitches. These are more realistic size stitches, but you know, when you're talking a sole, they have way bigger, fatter thread string stitches. So, and I went off target a little there, but whatever. I don't think we have too many issues with that. Some big, thick ones. Okay. So I shaded that. I'm going to go very dark in the tongue. It's just a very thin, slim piece. So, because it's really dark, I'm going to do the same shading technique in here. So the light's coming here. So basically, there's going to be a big shadow cast like that, and I'm going to have to shade that in, which is going to be a bit of a pain because it's so big. But I'm going to prepare my drawing. I'll shade in all these parts because it's deep in there. Just simple color blocking. I'm not even really putting gradients in there, but I'm going to go here. Oops. And here I'm going to dark here and try to keep it as smooth as possible with my straight line technique. Just be patient. Just get through it. Hey, what do you think of my name, Detroit Soul? I thought that was pretty good off the cuff. Can I get some thumbs up on that or thumbs down on the
That's pretty cool.
on the comments? I thought that was pretty good. Okay, there's my shadow. Now what else needs to be shaded? Oh, I need to start putting in, so I have rubber on the bottom, but then I have all of this strips of leather that is traditional, or wood, I don't know. I'm gonna put that in. And I'm gonna put that in up here as well. Honestly, I don't really care. I do care, but I'm gonna leave that up to the engineers to figure that one out. That's something Gucci and everyone can figure out. I've got it shaded, I've got this. So, okay, I'm gonna put in a little shading, just a little bit, because this one's really easy, this one. So I'm just gonna shade in piece by piece, just a very gentle shade, because I know it won't ruin it with this. Just bear in mind where the light is coming from. And then in here, I'm just gonna do, I don't know how I'm shading this, I'm just gonna have to wing it. But as long as you go light, it should be okay. And this one too, I am gonna do a little bit of, I'm gonna draw in that reflection. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna shade this in a little bit first. There, and I think I'm just gonna do it piece by piece. I don't think I'm gonna go crazy on it, but we'll see. At least I can erase if I make a big mistake. Not much on this, and not much on here, just a little bit. I'm just going straight lines. Since the light is coming from over here, this is going to be shaded, so I'm just going to do some simple core right here. Darkest about here, go over that, and then I'm just going to shade it up like that. And I'm pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit of shading to give it that round look, just up here. I mean, the theory is this should be white, but and up here as well. Oh, back here, I need a core to be consistent with the heel. I'm going to just do a core right in here. Lay that out. And a couple of other little cores right in here, because I imagine this as a molded piece, which it is. So I will shade that in. And since I'm going to say that's black rubber on the bottom, I am going to shade that. So, but I'm not going to do it hardcore. I'm just going to, my vertical lines. Fade off. I will put a core in here. and also shade that up into, because the sole is all black, and then also in here. I am giving it some gradient love. I try to put gradient love in as much as I can, but sometimes I can't describe it because I don't know what I'm doing actually until I do it. All right, I think I am okay with this. Oh, I forgot something kind of major. The sole's got to be dark as a son of a gun right in here, because this is the darkest part of the shadow, apart from perhaps in here. Right? And it really shows the shape. It helps add depth. I'm starting to fall in love with the pencil again, mechanical. And also in here, I'm going to make this bottom part super dark, just to help give it that 3D. And basically I'm good. A little shadow down here. And then here. I don't want to shade too much though. A little bit here. I don't want to shade too much in here. I'm going for it, but I'm not going for it, really. Little bit in here, just a wee bit in here. A little bit in here, just a wee bit in there. And there it is. I think it's done, and I'll sign it because this isn't so bad. Okay, one little more shady bit. Just on the tips of the shadow. All I'm doing is that. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Just to show that it is a shadow. Just my parallel lines as I do. I'm good. All right, that just finished up the class just in time. That's it. I will scan this and put this up on the wall for you guys on the blackboard. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, it was.
And I will upload the drawing. I'll upload the drawing, and I'll download the video and put it all up later on this evening. Maybe tomorrow because it takes time, but I'll try to do it tonight.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yep, cool.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you on Tuesday.
Okay.
Bye,
Okay.
Brooke. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.